Hello.
Hello. Today we're talking about 10 foods you should never buy to save on grocery shopping. Yes, these are 10 foods that I almost never buy. I'm not going to say I never buy them, but they are not a regular staple in my grocery budget. All right, let's go. Number 1 would be Sody Pop.
What?
How does that make you feel?
Makes me feel fine. It's been too expensive for a long time.
I'm not going to say we don't ever buy soda, but we have not bought soda since it has gone up to $4 a case on sale. We have not bought it.
$4 a case? You mean $4 a
12 pack? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because it's like $8 a 12 pack here at Walmart.
It was 10. So Walmart has brought their price down a little bit because it was $10.
Wow.
So soda pop is the first thing. I mean, you're literally peeing your money down the toilet.
Well, this may be an obvious one, but there are some coming that maybe are less obvious. So
yeah. But this is a huge one, guys. I used to only buy it when it was $2.50 for a 12 pack and then $3 for a 12 pack. Since it's been $4 on sale for a 12 pack, I don't buy it. Never, ever, ever buy it when it's not on sale. So like if it's on sale, I'll buy it if it's like $3, but I haven't bought any for about 9 months now since it has gotten to be so stinking expensive. Okay, next one is, oh dear, I lost my thing here. Where'd it go? Here it is. Okay, so then the next one is Cliff Bars, expensive granola bars. Now, you will find this in my grocery shopping cart around holiday times when certain people want gifts for holidays. So I will buy these occasionally as a gift.
You know what I'm noticing looking at that though? I was in the store the other day and I noticed the prices on chocolate bars. And I was like, my goodness, $2.50 for a candy bar. I did not know that they were $2.50 now. But as I look at that, the Cliff Bar is actually only a little over $1. So it's way cheaper
than a candy bar now.
Oh my goodness.
It's actually cheaper than a candy bar.
That's shocking.
But expensive granola bars, I see people buying these specialty items all the time. This is super expensive and can really jack up your grocery bill to super high prices. Next one is drinking water. I would say of everything on the list today, this is the number one biggest waste of money ever in anyone's grocery bill is bottled water. I'm sorry, but bottled water is probably, I mean, it is the biggest waste of money. It just really is. For $5.36, you probably have 10 cents of water here. Maybe have 10 cents of water. There's no reason. I mean, I say that and people will give me all kinds of reasons. They'll tell me this reason and that reason of why they have to buy bottled water. But what happened to even get-togethers for school and church and all this? What happened to, we have a big 5-gallon cooler, we fill it up with some ice and water, and everybody just has a cup and takes it out of the spigot.
Well, I'm kind of wondering if this might be a good poll, but I'm kind of wondering if people have this impression now that there's something wrong with tap water. I mean, there was one town in, was it Michigan, that had a Flint had Michigan. A big water problem. But in general, the water is totally fine out of the tap. Actually, it's kind of funny because when we used to live in Colorado, I worked at a restaurant there a long, long time ago, and our water would come straight off the mountain out of the tap. And people were asking for bottled water. And I looked at the label one day and it said bottled at the Houston Municipal Water Supply, which means they didn't want our tap water in Colorado. So we sold them tap water in a bottle from Houston.
Well, and even at that, I mean, let's look at this. So I didn't look this up, but even because I'm sure somebody's going to say, well, I can't drink my water, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I have lived where we literally could not drink the water. I get it. When Mike went into town at work, he would refill gallon jugs at work with water that was drinkable. But let's say you live in Flint, Michigan. Okay, so bottled water here is $5.36 for 46-ounce bottles, 16-ounce bottles. Okay, can you do the math real quick?
What's that?
Do 17 times 40.
17 times 40?
Yeah, 17 times 40. How many ounces is that?
Sorry, I'm 680.
680. Okay, and so how many ounces is a gallon? Does anybody know? Let's see, how many ounces is a gallon?
It's over right there.
Oh, that's a liter. Oh, shoot.
Hold on.
How many ounces in a gallon?
128.
128. So let's just check and see. Maybe the math is there, maybe it's not. So there was how many in that other thing?
680.
So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4.
3.78 gallons.
8 gallons.
Well, no, 3.78.
No, 3. Okay, so 3 gallons of water would be 1, 2, 3, 4. $4, about $4.50. And it's still cheaper instead of paying for the $5.35, the $5.36 here. It's still $1 cheaper to just buy it by the gallon and pour it out than to buy it in these single serving things.
The single serving things, I have bought them occasionally, like if we're going to some event where lots of people are that we know, and it's 100 degrees out, and I'm sure somebody hasn't brought water, sometimes I'll chuck one in, because then we can just hand them out. But in general, I mean, you throw away an awful lot of plastic bottles, and even though I'm not really worried about it from the environment standpoint, I do think wasting things is kind of not that great. But when the water out of the tap is just as good, then why not drink it and save yourself a lot of money?
I don't know. I don't know why people do that. That doesn't make sense to me.
And we would, if we had to bring bottle, well, first of all, we have some water bottles that are like permanent bottles, and the kids can fill them up at the tap.
Thank you, Kathy.
But if we need bottled water for something, we will usually just fill up bottles we already have from the tap, not spend any more money.
Yeah. So bottled water is the next one. Okay. Then let's go here real quick. Kathy took care of it. The next one is candy bars. I was shocked how many people just buy candy bars.
Well, I mean, I used to just buy candy bars when they were $0.25. Man, that's inflation right there is way more than the inflation on other food. That's crazy.
Totally crazy. I do not get it. But anyway, candy bars. Yeah, guys, just, I don't know, buy yourself a cookie or something. But that's just seems like that's awful crazy.
Buy them after Halloween. It's coming up.
3 ounces for $2. Woo! That's why I buy mine after Halloween. The next thing is Keurig pods. Wow. These suckers are expensive. Now, I have a confession to make. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Sorry. I was actually thinking about getting a Keurig.
You were after the hotel experience?
I know. No. After our son has decided to like coffee experience.
You mean our son that works making coffee?
Yes, one of our sons. Since there's coffee mess all over the place, even after being cleaned up, I'm like, this mother's nerves are getting stomped on. And I'm like, okay, I'm tired of cleaning up coffee grounds. maybe we need a Keurig until they move out of the house.
You know, there are probably 15 of them over at the thrift store.
So I had actually thought about buying this, but let me tell you, these are crazy stinking expensive. Look at this. $8, $7.98 for 10 count box of Dunkin' Donuts coffee. That is 80 cents a serving. Holy macaroni, 80 cents a serving. Coffee costs like 5 to 10 cents a serving if you just make it at home. 5 to 10 cents. Absolutely crazy. So Keurigs is another huge waste of money. The next thing is fruit snacks that are pre-packaged. Holy macaroni, I was totally shocked at how many people buy these things for their kids' lunches. Just open a can and get you some little reusable Tupperware, plasticware containers, and just open up a couple of cans and put them in your refrigerator and have them stacked in there for the whole week. It literally takes 30 seconds to do that. It really does.
Jack makes his own.
30 seconds. All right, guys, before we get to the next one, our Dining on a Dime cookbooks are on sale right now for our September sale, 35% off. Volume 1 and Volume 2, easy recipes to get you in and out of the kitchen quick. Today, I made enchilada sauce out of our Dining on a Dime Volume 1 with the green tomatoes.
I did not know you could make it out of green tomatoes.
Then our gluten-free, dairy-free edition. If you are gluten-free,
amazing brownies.
Yes.
The brownies are fantastic.
And the cinnamon roll muffins. I might have to make me some of those. They're pretty darn tootin' tasty. But they are on sale right now. Easy recipes to get you in and out of the kitchen quick. Your family will love. And you don't have to waste money on things like fruit snacks because you can make food quick. Quick. I don't like to take a lot of time in the kitchen. All right, the next one is chips. I am shocked how many people buy these pre-packaged packages of chips. It's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Once again, on Sunday, go and buy a package of chips and just take the whole package. And this is something that if the kids are over 5 years old, the kids can do this. Mom doesn't need to be doing this. Set the kids up at the countertop or the table, and they can package the chips in there. Zip tie it full, put it in a nice little basket in the pantry. The chips stay fresh because they're sealed all the time. The package doesn't get left open all the time. Another issue around our house. Dad, what are we going to do when they're all gone? We're going to be lonely.
Chips. We won't buy chips.
That's funny.
Well, yes, we'll be lonely. That's true.
We'll be lonely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, chips. Guys, just repackage your own on Sunday. Seriously, super easy. Put your comments and questions in, and Mike will get them to me. The next one is Precut fruits and vegetables. Oh, I just want to scream when I see people paying $2.88 for a thing of already diced onions that would probably cost you 50 cents and not even a minute's worth of work to dice up that onion.
Yeah.
Not even a minute's worth of work. Same with the carrots, the fajita mixed. I mean, at the least, get the onions and the peppers and the onions, buy those frozen at least. You'll save at least $1 on that, maybe a little bit more even. So, I mean, the pre-cut fruits and vegetables, I know people don't like doing that, but my goodness, when you're in hock up to your eyeballs, you're paying off debt, you're stressed out because you can't afford daycare, you're stressed out because you can't afford your car payment, you can't afford to pay off your student loans, anything like that. and yet you're spending your money on these things. Well, I'm sorry, but if you would stop wasting so much money on some of these grocery things, you could pay off this other stuff.
Actually, the thing about grocery budget problems is they usually start from not giant things that you spend money on, although that does happen with some people, but it's all the little things that people don't know that they're spending or don't really think about, or just chuck in the cart, and when they swipe their credit card, they don't pay attention to the total.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I think people just do not underestimate how much they're spending on these things. The next one is juice, boxed juices, the pouches, all of your juices. First of all, your kids do not need juices. Okay? They don't need them. When my kids went to school, the only thing that went in their lunchbox was a little thermos of water. I just had one of those reusable, not thermos, but what do you call those reusable? You remember the thing we put in the kids' lunches? It was just plastic with a little straw. I guess a mini water bottle. I don't know. What would you call that?
Those little clear bottles with a green lid. And it was like a
mini water bottle type thing.
It's not a sippy thing. It's like it's something they have for kids. It's a little bottle that's about the size of a flask, but it's plastic and it has a little screw-on lid with a little straw thing built into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we use those as long as they didn't, and when they, I mean, it took them a while, but eventually they would leak. But the only thing,
I mean, my goodness, a couple of years. Yeah. I mean, it was a few years before they would leak, but I didn't put chocolate milk in there. I didn't put milk. I didn't put juice. It was only water. That's all they had in there was water. So I didn't waste money on buying juice boxes. Once again, this is just a treat for our family. The next thing is booze.
What?
Booze. Seriously. It is amazing how much money people spend on booze.
I'm kind of shocked how expensive it is.
Absolutely floors me on how in the world do I do this? There. Absolutely floors me the amount of money people spend on booze. And then they complain that they can't make their car payment. They can't make their student loans. They can't make their house payment. Here's the thing. Everybody's blaming anyone and everyone else. The economy, they're blaming the economy. They're blaming not getting paid enough at their job and all this other stuff. When if you would just stop spending so much money on your groceries on these things, you could afford all this other stuff. You could absolutely afford all this stuff.
Well, and the thing about like the economy, it is bad, but there's not a lot you can do about it on a normal basis. But you can make different choices with how you buy food. So you can solve that problem, even though you can't solve the economic problem yourself.
And while Mike is sending me the comments and the questions, I am going to read an email I got. So this email is in reference to Kersey, who was in one of our grocery audits. I don't know if you guys remember, but she was from Canada, and she was showing us how in Canada, her grocery bill is super, super low in Canada, and some of the tips and tricks that she uses to save on her grocery bill in Canada. And so, I mean, she's just nailing it. Well, I got this email from Leanne, and she says, "Hi, I've been a follower of yours for a very long time. Years," she says. Now, let me just say, first of all, if it's been years, I can't believe she even emailed me this message.
You've been years, then you should.
You should know better than to email me this message. But I'm going to go on anyway. I've been a longtime follower of yours I've been a follower of yours for a very long time, years, and I never really make a lot of comments. But I just watched a video you shared. I think it was 6 months, 9 months ago, where there was a lady from Toronto who shared videos with you about how she shops and saves money in Canada. I have to tell you, everywhere she went must be exclusive to just the Ontario area and west of that. She got special deals and bargains. Absolutely, she did. And collecting some points, PC points and scene points too. Great. I really hate to say this, but what she was showing you were really special bargains. Those prices rarely in capitals happen. I live in New Brunswick, Canada, and a price for a dozen eggs has gone up to almost $7 in Canadian for 1 dozen eggs. It comes back down to like $4.99. There are no bargain stores like that here in this part of Eastern Canada. We have one No Frills store. It is a yellow label store that is affiliated with Sobeys Superstore, and there's only one in Moncton, NB area that I live in. It's 30 minutes away in another town. I was super excited to see what she found and showed and shared with you, but quickly I was very, in capital letters, disappointed that all she showed was the bargains that she got. All she showed was the bargains she got, dear. That's surprising. Okay, at this point, the steam was coming out of my head. But I was very quickly disappointed that all you showed was the bargains that she got and that maybe took her a month to get. I doubt that happened in 1 week. Okay, I'm not a cussing woman, but at this point I was cursing and my son was shocked. Because I was saying curse words that went with Sherlock. He was like, Mom! I truly still love your channel, your show, your focus, your thoughts, and your clever way of saving money. Thank you. But please, please, maybe ask questions before you post things from people and share how long did it take to get these.
Were we asking questions for the whole 2 hours of the show?
I mean, her video was like an hour long.
Oh, it was longer than that. It was a live show.
Was it a live show?
I think it was a live show.
Goodness. Show me your receipts and how far did you have to go to get these things? I am very crafty and frugal. You obviously are not. You obviously are not crafty and frugal. And finding wonderful deals to feed my son and I sometimes feel like a vegetarian or frozen food vegetarian on what's available to me at the prices I can afford. To me, unfortunately, it just wasn't a great representation of Canadian prices. Maybe others feel the same way, and that's why you turn the comments off on the video. That's exactly why I turned the comments off on the video. Why? Because we showed you how she was doing it in her area. And it was very, very doable. Now, here's the thing. I went to, what was her name again? Leanne's. I typed in New Brunswick, Canada.
Well, New Brunswick is like, it's a province. So it's
I
like
know.
a state, yeah.
So I typed in New Brunswick to give me an idea of what grocery stores they had there. And I found this place. Okay, let me show you here real quick. I found this place. Whoops, where'd it go? Here it is. It is called Real Atlantic Superstore. Okay, so I went through and I looked through several of the things in her, let's see, is that showing? How do I get it to show the next picture? Okay, so first of all, here's Huggies. These wipes are actually cheaper than what is in my area here in the United States. She had tuna, 95 cents for 3 ounces. For the same amount here at Walmart today, it is tuna for 1 can of tuna, which is 5 ounces, is 88 cents. So that's when you do the calculation of how do I say, the exchange rate, that is about the same price that we pay here in the United States. The next thing she said she never has any sales. But look at this. This one here is, I was just like, oh my goodness. I'm absolutely.
You're going to love the response from a lot of people.
I'm absolutely just.
I'm proud of you guys.
Steam is coming out of the top of my head on this one.
She gets there, she'll be proud of you.
Look at this. $1.99 for boneless, or not boneless, for chicken thighs and chicken quarters. Okay, that's not an exceptional price. But according to what she's saying in Canada, that's a really good deal. That's like $1.50, give or take, here in the United States. That's $1.50 a pound. Well, we can get these for $1 a pound, 50 cents more a pound is not that bad. It's really not horrendous at all to pay $1.50 a pound for drumsticks and thighs. And then here she had ribs for $2.99. They had ribs for $2.99. Why did I turn the comments off on that show? Because people like you that refuse to do what it takes to save money on groceries, and then you do nothing but whine and complain because you refuse to get your act together.
I just think it's funny that somebody will say, we're showing somebody how to get something pretty much where they are, pretty close. And they'll say, well, that's not available here. Well, then there was a time for a long time where we would, while the person was live on the show, we would go to the ads for their town. We'd look and we'd say, well, Tara would say, well, there's this here. Well, what about that? Well, what is it? And a lot of times people would say things like, well, I have to drive 20 minutes to get it. Like,
big whoop-de-ding.
I mean,
I drove 70 miles each way
because
when we lived in Idaho.
Because we saved a lot of money by doing it that way.
I went grocery shopping once a month. She could take a Saturday and go once a month to somewhere that's cheaper. She's only like an hour from the United States, I think, if I looked at the map correctly. Haul yourself down to the United States and come and take a load up once. I mean, I don't know how customs works and if they charge you for that or whatever. I don't know how they do that. So that may not be worth it. But the thing is, there are options. Now, to her next question, well, she certainly didn't get that in a week. No kidding. Sherlock. Where have you been?
Just kidding.
No kidding, Sherlock.
Well,
listen, this is a process. You stock up like I did last Friday, getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I got 2 months worth of meat and saved myself almost $200 for 45 minutes worth of work. It can be done in Canada. And what's so funny is, I'm not kidding, about an hour after I got that email, Kirsty happened to email me telling me how excited she was on these new deals she got and how even now she can still get great deals and all this. And I was like, I cannot believe you just emailed me. Look what I just got in my email from this lady. And she was like, yeah, I mean, it just blows my mind that people refuse to just look. And she had granola bars on sale. Her granola bars were actually cheaper than what we pay for them here in the United States. They were actually cheaper. And I missed who it was, but somebody said, here in Washington, I would love to have those prices. I know. So the moral of the story is, stop blaming your high grocery budget on the economy. Stop blaming the fact that you can't pay for anything in this economy. It's just not true. Yes, things have gone up about 20%, but that's not going to break the bank For the majority of people who live in the United States, the majority of people who live in the United States can cut back on having their nails done. They can cut back on their Starbucks. They can cut back on their car and get a car that doesn't have a car payment. They can cut back on getting their hair cut and colored. They can cut back on all the new clothes that they're buying. They can cut back on all the extra activities that they're doing, all the pizzas that are being delivered, all the takeout that's being done because they don't feel like cooking. It all boils down to choices.
Yeah. Well, the thing I was thinking is, if you've been around here for any amount of time, like Tara, I think, didn't you say it in that meat video? If you haven't seen that meat video, you should go see it. It's really good. But in the meat video, I think you were saying you never ever pay full price for meat.
Never.
Never.
I don't buy meat at full price.
The thing is about when the person who wrote in said, I doubt that she did that in 1 week or something like that.
Yeah.
The point is, at first you're in a bad place spending too much money, and you have to look for the deals. And then when the deals come up, you have to rearrange things so you can go buy the things that are on sale more than the other things that you buy. And then the next time you don't have to buy those things that were on sale last week. So now you can buy whatever's on sale this week. So you eventually get into the habit of buying almost everything on sale. But it takes a little work to get into it. Like once you're doing it, it's easy for Tara to just, now that she's been doing it, to just go all the time and just get the deals. But if you just want to walk into the store today because you think, I really feel like eating guacamole, but it's January. That's not the good time to get it right.
Actually, it is.
Is it?
Avocados is good in January.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, if you think about
in July,
that was a bad example.
In July.
Okay. If there's a time where if you just get the urge to eat some specific thing today and you walk into the store to buy it today, you're going to pay the highest price.
Well, like I went back and looked just now. There was no limit on the tuna. There was no limit on the chicken. So this week she could stock up for 2 or 3 months worth of tuna or 2 or 3 months worth of chicken until it goes on sale again. That's how you do it. If you're only buying the groceries that you need to eat this week at the grocery store, that is the most expensive way to buy groceries. The most expensive way. So if you make a menu plan and then you make out your shopping list and you just go buy your 7 days worth of food, that's the most expensive way to do it. And yeah, you are going to pay full price. You are going to pay full price. And here's the thing. I don't know what the wages are in New Brunswick, but we'll just compare it to New York City, the way you guys are talking. You act like it's New York City. So let's say it's as bad as New York City. Okay, that's fine. But guess what? The prices are really expensive in New York City, but the wages are really high in New York City. So it does kind of balance out. And here's the other thing. If you don't like it, move. You're not a tree. I mean, that's what it boils down to. So these are choices that you make, and people don't want to shop the sales. They don't want to take the time to stock up. They don't want to take the time to think about it. Well, sorry. Then yeah, you're going to pay full price.
But what I would say, if you find yourself in that position of watching the video and saying, I don't know how she does that, instead of saying, you must have lied, you're only presenting the things that people want to hear, you're just leading people along. I mean, that's not exactly what the words were.
That is what they're saying.
That's not what the direct words were, but that is what the message was. If you say that, what you're saying is, I spend too much and I just want to complain about it. I don't want to do anything about it. But if you actually want to know, did Kirsty actually save this much money in Canada? How did she do that? And if you instead of saying, this is impossible, you're misrepresenting something, I've been a viewer for years. And if instead you just say, hey, I'm confused, how is it possible that she did this? Then,
well,
at least you're asking how, though. Even if you didn't quite get it, maybe you should watch the video again. But
well, here's what's happening. She's been a viewer for years, but she hasn't been listening for years.
Hmm.
That's the problem. She may be a viewer, but she's not listening.
Because the thing is, what the point I was trying to make, though, is people like to look and say, that's not possible. I can't do that. And even if 50 other people in the chat are saying, oh, it's great, I've been doing that for years and it's so beautiful, the one person will say, it's not possible where I live. Like, I got news for you. We've been all over the United States. We've been in Canada. We've been in Europe, in England, Ireland, Scotland,
Norway,
France, and Norway. And Norway is the only place where people are justified to complain about their grocery prices, like in all those places. And we've looked at prices in other places when people were saying, like in Australia. What's funny in a lot of places like Australia or Canada is we'll get one person that'll say, oh, it's just impossible for me to do that here. And then we'll get another person on the same day that'll say, look at all the great deals I got. It's cheaper than where you live.
And here's the thing. If I would have gotten this email a month ago, in a couple of weeks, we're going to only be an hour away from there. And I would have hauled my buttocks up to Canada and gone grocery shopping just to see for myself. But anyway, it has nothing to do with where you live. It has everything to do with your attitude and whether or not you actually want to save money on groceries. Even if she has to drive 8 hours in Canada to go to a cheaper place. I mean, I know Canada is a huge country. I get that. But our friends in Norway, they would drive 8 hours to Sweden, stock up on groceries for 2 or 3 days, pay for a hotel room because it was cheaper than the groceries in Norway, and bring a trailer load of food home for the year. There's no excuses. No excuses. All right. Dining on a Dime cookbooks, guys. Nothing else. Dining on a Dime right here. Cheap, easy recipes to get you in and out of the kitchen quick. Start with volume 1, and volume 2 is just the continuation of that. Totally different recipes. They just couldn't all fit in one book, but easy recipes get you in and out of the kitchen quick and will help you save money on your grocery bill. And our gluten-free, dairy-free edition, and our price books are back in stock, guys.
Woohoo!
We got them back. This is how I save money grocery shopping, because what I do is I mark down the item, and when it was on sale last, which store it was at. I put my 3 stores up here. I say just go to 3 different stores. Don't kill yourself going to all kinds of different places. Then mark the price and the date. And then I watch, and when it goes less than that, I know to stock up. Okay, now, did you send me the comments?
Yeah,
okay.
And I know a lot of people say, oh, well, there's not a store anywhere near me. In most places where you live, most places in the world, well, most places in the developed world, you can drive 1 or 2 hours and find a variety of stores. And that might sound crazy, but how much money are you saving? Like if you don't want to drive that far if you're just going to buy a candy bar, because instead of $2.50 candy bar, it's $2.20. But the idea is, like when we lived in rural Idaho, we lived 70 miles from from the nearest grocery store, and it would take an hour and a half about to get there, because it was driving through the mountains and everything. And part of that is we understood that that's living in a rural, remote area. You can't live in a rural, remote area and expect to have city conveniences. But what we did is we just said, we can't really buy anything in our town. And so what we're going to do is we're going to be very organized, and we're going to go shop once or twice a month. It was usually once a month, right?
Once a month, yeah.
Although at some point I got a job where I had to drive through that town every so often. And so if Tara needed something she didn't get the rest of the time, I would get it then. But the idea is, a lot of people say I couldn't drive an hour for groceries. Well, if you make it only once a month, you have to drive the hour, then what's the big deal? You're going to drive the hour and save $300 on your groceries. I mean, you don't make $300 an hour at your job, so why not? I mean, if you do make $300 an hour at the job, then by all means, have someone deliver it to you.
Go for it. Yeah.
Drop it from a helicopter.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm getting the comments up. Mike, would you like to show my lovely flowers that we have now?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't like to show them, but do you want me to go pick them up? Is that what
Yeah,
you
just show everybody my lovely flowers that are left.
Yes.
So we made a bouquet of flowers for
Tara's
this
been making
show.
a bouquet for each show, and this is the bouquet after last night's storm. I can't believe any of them survived.
Oops.
We should show them the buckshot tomatoes. Got a bunch of tomatoes that look like they got hit with buckshot. And
yeah.
Man, they're just nothing but leaves and little petals everywhere in the whole yard.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So Tara's conclusion to that was she's glad she showed everyone the gardens on Wednesday.
Yes.
And gardening season is over for the year.
Gardening season is over here in Sheridan, Wyoming. I literally got, I think, like 4 red tomatoes is all I got out of my garden this year. I did get 1 Ziploc bag of peppers, and I maybe have 1 more that I picked today. And I got a few pumpkins, and some green beans. I got about 2 bowls worth of green beans. Certainly not worth all the work I went to. Jamie, you know you've really made it when the haters are sending you crazy emails. Oh, I know. Tell me about it. Joyce, the best discount grocery store is almost an hour and 15 minutes for me, but it's worth the drive. I spent $60, but got well over $200 worth of groceries. Good job. Nancy, I think I need to sit and stare after hearing this email. Wow. I know. I was just like, the thing is, if you're new, that's fine. But if you've been watching me for years, you have not been listening for years. So you need to calm yourself down and start listening, because I have lived in super expensive places. I have had to drive 70 miles each way to go get groceries. I have shopped in New York City. It can be done. Jamie K, I don't buy anything unless it's a bargain. Yep. Vicky, there are always good sales. You just have to look for them, and it's not hard. Yep. Every store has sales every single week. Tanya, I just Googled egg prices in various areas of Canada, all less than $4 a dozen, including New Brunswick. There you go. Edifying, why would you buy anything that aren't a bargain? Thank you very much. Stephanie, I've been following since the beginning in the late 90s. Yes. You've been with us for 25 years.
Wow.
My goodness.
Thanks.
She's been with us since the late 1900s.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. We appreciate you staying with us. Barbara Jean, even if it took Leanne a month to shop for her bargains, she was able to and willing to do it. Yes, willing, exactly. Patty, I bargain hunt no matter how long it takes. Sometimes I have to drive. I have hamburger meat yesterday for $1.99 a pound. Drove a half hour to get there. I don't even like to drive anymore. Yep, I get it. Claire says Tara is hopping mad with her emojis. Yep. Well, the thing is, she's implying that I'm lying and that Kirsty is lying, is what she's doing. And, you know, it is so incredibly frustrating as YouTubers, especially grocery YouTubers, that people just don't want to get their act together. And that's not my fault. If you don't want to go and get and stock up on bargains, when stuff are in bargains, when tuna is 95 cents a can, when chicken thighs and legs are, what was it, $2.99 or whatever, $1.99, that's your problem. Don't be hollering at me like I'm lying about the prices. The prices are right there. You can just look them up online. Wanda, if she's such a long-time viewer, why is she talking about the lady only shopping sale items? Duh, that's the point. Thank you.
Well, and so Jennifer is in New Brunswick, and she was saying it's kind of difficult if you're rural. And she said, that's where I shop. It takes 40 minutes to drive there, and the prices are expensive. The odd sale doesn't make up for the extreme prices of everything else and $8 a gallon gas. The issue, though, that what you're describing, Jennifer, is it takes 40 minutes to drive there, but you don't go for just one odd item. Like, when we were talking about that, we were talking about identifying what the sales are and going and buying a lot of stuff that's on sale. So like if you find something that's a very low price, if you're rural, you need to plan this. And that's part of being rural.
Yeah, we live 70 miles from grocery store in Idaho.
And so if you're 40 miles away and you don't want to drive that far because of the cost, $8 a gallon gas doesn't mean very much when you're only driving that distance.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
so
she could probably, depending on her car, get there and back on $10.
If you're going because meat is on sale and you're going to buy one pack of meat and save $1 or $2 or $3, then it's not worth it. But what Tara's saying is don't do that. What Tara's always said is go there and buy a lot of meat when it's half price, or go there and buy a lot of, what else do you buy?
Well, like for that week,
a lot of things that you buy that
she could have got the pork ribs, the chicken thighs and drumsticks, and the tuna would have by itself, if she would have stocked up 3 or 4 months just on those sales, would have been worth the trip into town.
So, and here's the thing, if it doesn't bother you to pay more, then don't drive. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that if you have the money and it's not bothering you. It's for people that say, oh, woe is me, what am I going to do? I can't pay my rent because groceries are so expensive, but I don't want to drive an hour to save a bunch of money on stuff. And again, in your situation, Jennifer, what you described, the going to get the odd item, well, sure, it's not worth it to get the one odd item. It's only worth it to plan ahead and buy like $500 worth of stuff that you would normally have had to spend $800 or $900 for. That's what Tara is talking about.
Well, and somebody said, why are you getting so mad? I'm getting mad because this woman apparently has watched me for years and basically says I'm lying. If you've watched me for that long, you have seen my receipts. You have seen my ads. I have an ad right here from the show. I have another ad right here from the show. I have another ad right here. It is the same principle in Canada as it is here. But it just amounts to laziness is all it amounts to. Okay, Melissa says $3.99 for ground beef is awesome. Yeah, it might be in Canada. And if that's the case, then she should go for it. Robin, over Labor Day, I got boneless ribeye for $4.99 a pound. Totally worth it. Definitely. Barbara Jean says, I think people have an exaggerated idea about how much protein meat they need. Exactly. You're right. $3.99 a pound for ground beef is 6 servings for soup or chili. You are correct. Melissa, seems people like to have a victim mentality, so therefore have all kinds of excuses that drives me batty. Thank you very much. Carol Ann says, instead of takeout or delivery, I wait for sales on frozen pizza and stock up. If I don't feel like cooking or don't have leftovers, I've got pizza ready to go. That's exactly what I do. Stephanie Joe says, make Friday the 13th great again. Yes. Who was it? It was Pastor Jack. Mom was telling me she was watching Pastor Jack, and he said that Friday the 13th was actually, it had nothing to do with bad juju. It was actually a positive holiday for Christians or something.
Was it?
I can't remember what it was, but Margaret says, P.S. I got 99-cent eggs today with a coupon at 7 a.m. Limited supply, so I went early. They have over $3 at times. Hot dogs 77 cents. Butter, the real thing, for $2.89. It's been near $5. Good job, Margaret. Edifying Gravity says, traveling this weekend for my mother-in-law's 80th birthday. Kids are excited about special road trip snacks. When you don't make extras an everyday occurrence, they're more special when you get them. That's exactly what we did with our kids. Christmas, Easter, birthdays, and road trips. That's exactly what we did. Edifying Gravity says, expensive and not the health food people think it is. Yep. Patricia, hello from Patty in Ireland. Oh, no, inland northwest.
Inland northwest, yeah.
Sorry, in the inland northwest. My heart broke for you watching yesterday's video. You posted the big hailstorm you had. Plants and gardens took a beating. Yes, and so did everyone's cars in town and roof. Did you call the insurance guy today? We'll need to call the insurance guy on Monday because we need to have our roof checked too. But, yeah, I have a video coming out tomorrow on the aftermath, so I'll be watching for that. I was very upset. My poor son, he walked out on the porch and saw Mom just sobbing. And here's the thing. Okay, I was really upset because I spend 1 to 2 hours a day working in my garden, don't I?
Yeah. She's out there all the time.
And this year, I didn't get anything flowering hardly at all. I had a couple of things, but nothing major until just about 3 weeks ago. My stuff finally started flowering. And I was just enjoying it. And not even an hour before the hailstone, I was just looking out my window and I was just like, oh, I'm just absolutely loving my garden. I'm just so glad everything's finally blooming. I can enjoy it for a couple of more weeks. And then the hail came. And it's funny because, you know, this is something that people need to hear. And I'm saying this in tomorrow's video too, but I got comment after comment. Well, there are a whole lot of things there are a whole lot of things that are worse in this life that are worth crying over.
People that
except
say
for
that,
a little bit of hail.
Usually people that say that have less problems.
Well, you should be thankful that your food supply isn't dependent on this. You should be thankful that you have a roof over your head. You should be thankful that everyone is safe and okay. And you know what? It is okay to be sad and disappointed with things in life and still be thankful for the things you have. It is okay. And it makes me so mad when people just discount people feeling sad and upset. It's not like I'm sitting here, sobbing about it day after day after day. No, this morning I got up, started doing a video on the aftermath. And yeah, I'm not happy about it, but I'm not sitting here dwelling on it all the time. It's okay to be sad for a little while. It's okay to have those feelings. And then when people just negate it as if you shouldn't feel sad or upset, like the person we know who just bought a new car to him I think it was last week, maybe. I can't remember. Might have been last week. That was very recently. I know it's only been a week or two. And now it has hail damage. He just got something he really, really liked. And now it's damaged. It's okay to be sad and upset about those things.
It doesn't mean you're not thankful if you spend 500 hours gardening, if you spend 500 hours building something amazing and it's beautiful and wonderful, and then it just gets all destroyed, there's nothing really wrong with being upset about it. Yeah, if you just whine and complain about it for the next whole year, then of course that's not recognizing the things that you should be thankful for. But it's okay to be upset about something.
Nowhere in the Bible says we're not supposed to be sad. Because
the idea is, like for the garden, Tara spent probably 400 to 500 hours on the garden this year, and the produce is all destroyed. She did have a little bit of produce up to now, but it hasn't quite
not even close to
doing what it was going to do. So yeah, there's
doing.
nothing wrong with that. It's just it's
not even close to the amount of work I put in.
And if you're the person that said that about being thankful, you should know that criticism is not a spiritual gift.
Yeah.
So
I know. Yeah. And somebody said, I didn't know if you were laughing or crying. Was it Naomi? Actually, what happened was I was crying because I was in shock. And then I was laughing because I was in disbelief. Because I was just like, my first reaction was, I was just enjoying my garden and now it's all gone. And then I was like, I can't believe my garden's all gone. I can't believe I'm actually watching this happen. So I was actually crying and laughing both because I just was just unbelievable.
We did have the sun put a good spin on it.
Yeah. So one of my sons said, well, because he was listening to me editing tomorrow's video, and he said, well, Mom, okay, the birds ate it, and then the squirrels ate it, and then the rabbits ate it, and then the deer ate it, and then it almost froze, and then it almost burned up to death from the 100-degree temperatures. Maybe this was God's way of just saying, Mom, you shouldn't have had a garden this year, and he's just putting you out of your misery. I was like, yes. Because I'm not kidding. 2 days ago, day before yesterday, Tuesday, it was 90 some odd degrees again. And I was out there watering, because I hand water it all in the big garden, in the vegetable garden. And I was like, okay, I think I'm done with this garden. I'm tired of watering. I'm tired of the heat. I'm not getting any produce. It's already September and I've had 4 red tomatoes and about 10 or 12 cherry tomatoes. I did finally, after that heat on that day, I did get a bag of cherry tomatoes after that. But I was like, I am so done with this. And I was like, that's it. Okay. So anyway, watch for tomorrow's aftermath video.
Sometimes though, like that's the reason why we brought the flowers in the vase, because sometimes
gotta have a little humor.
Sometimes you just gotta laugh.
Yeah, Patricia.
What would Pollyanna say? The glad game.
Oh, brother.
I don't have to water anymore.
Yes.
I save 2 hours a day. 3 hours a day.
Patricia, I do store bottled water in case of emergency with the water supply. I am okay with that. I am perfectly okay with that. Lisa, people have been questioning, is it okay to drink water out of the bathroom sink? I'm like, when did it become a problem? Confused. Exactly. I have no idea. You better be keeping your bathroom clean. And if you're not, then that's a bigger problem than drinking water out of the sink. Laura, we could not drink water in Arizona. It was literally brown, but when we lived there, we bought it by the quart of jug. Yep, that's what we did when we couldn't drink our water. Linda, OMG, I had no idea you were live today. She loves all our videos. Thank you so much. Her heart broke, but at the loss of my flowers, thank you. I still have a few up by the house, a few of my zinnias that made it, and they're on drip irrigation, so I'm just going to let them finish their thing, but yeah. Janet, hello from Texas. Finally getting to watch live. Been recovering from that thing. So hubby is cooking this week. Again, we were just wondering if possibly we had gotten it a week or 2 ago and we didn't realize it. And now we're still not feeling good from it. Just sad I cannot taste or smell anything. Well, no, we haven't lost our taste or smell though, have we? So it must not have been that thing going around. Son made the buttermilk pancakes, Dining on a Dime cookbook, volume 1 the other night, and everyone loved them. Of course, I could not taste them. Oh, I'm so sorry. We'll definitely make them again when I am better. Love you guys. You make my day better. Thank you so much. Sandry Bullock. That must be a fake name. I got 12 Reese's peanut butter cups for $1.99 this week. I bought 5 packages, 4 in the freezer. Good job.
It's
Lorraine. Chandry.
Chandry.
Is she not? Oh,
I see what you're saying.
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe that's her real name. But
yeah.
Lorraine, we have a machine that uses both Keurig cups and regular. That's a great idea. All right. Do you have granola in your book? Yes. Volume 1. I have a delicious granola bar recipe and granola cereal. Oh my goodness, the granola cereal is so darn good. I am glad you reminded me of that because I'm gluten-free and I've been trying to think of something different for breakfast, and I'm going to go make me some of that. And that recipe is also in my gluten-free, dairy-free cookbook also. And the Badlands. Sorry, Tara, we do buy bottled water because it's easily to pack in a saddlebag. Otherwise, we use tap water. Yeah, but I mean, like even that, I'm not hollering at you, Bounty, but even at that, I remember my grandparents would just take, my grandparents were ranchers, and they would just take a refillable thing.
Although
most people just don't do that now.
Well, the other thing is that in the situation that she's in, if you have a ranch and you have a lot of people, it just might not be worth the effort if the cost to buy it is less than the major amount of hassle in managing the ranch. It probably is a good idea.
Jerry says 100% on the granola bars and bottled water. What I think is crazy is how they say it's so expensive to eat healthy and be fit. Exactly. Carrie, cutting down on takeaway coffee and no tea drinks or instant anything, no ready meals with the exception of frozen fish, chicken, veggies. Yep, exactly. You can see me the next one. Suze, I have lived in many places and the water where I live now is terrible. So I use a Brita. Exactly. Yes. Use a Brita, use filters, anything like that. Carrie, I buy a large packet of nuts, sultanas, yogurt, decant into small servings. Yep. Edifying Gravity, I was reading a book lately and the main characters were always drinking bottled water, but had an EV to be eco-friendly. Bugged me through the whole book. Oh, that would drive me nuts. That's when I would write an author. I don't write people. I don't usually leave comments on anyone's YouTube channel, negative or anything like that, but that would make me so bad. Joyce, I have a water filter on my house. Cost me about $60 a year. Good job. And Dine It Frugal with Dana, I don't know if this is an option for people with tap water problems, but I found filters that fit over your tap. Yep, and filters that come through. Yep, very good idea. Julie, I made your 5-gallon bucket water filter. I use it every day. I have an issue with it leaking around the spigot, but a little silicone fixed that. Good job. Yeah, I was going to say get new washers or silicone works good. Maria, this is a surprise to see you on Friday. Thank you. We always do live shows for our sales, so we're going to be live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday next week. And you're going to want to be sure to watch Friday's show next week for sure. Stephanie, love my French press. Wouldn't waste money on a Keurig. Yep, we have one too. Jamie, so much cheaper to buy higher quality coffee beans and grounds and just put in a French press or refillable Keurig cup. Yep. My problem is the mess of the coffee grounds. I'm having issues with the mess of the coffee grounds. We're working on it, but we're getting closer. Vicky, a small bag of chips costs more than a family size most of the time. It's ridiculous. Yep. Jane, we use a K-cup coffee maker, but our friend works at a hotel. Whenever the cups that don't get used in the coffee stations, they throw away. Oh my goodness, do they throw all of those away if you don't use them?
Well, I didn't think so, but now that I think about it, with all the paranoia about that thing going around.
So I don't feel so bad taking all of them. Wow. Vicky, I bought some pre-cut onions that were on markdown. Good job. Jamie, my mom and mother-in-law thought I was crazy for buying big bags of chips for my daughter's party instead of individual bags of chips. I put them in cute little bags and it took me 20 minutes to do. Yep. What's funny is these same people who are worried about germs have no problem just touching the grocery cart or letting their kids touch the grocery cart handle at the grocery store. You know? Edifying Gravity, our dentist and pediatrician love that we don't give our kids juice. Yep. Yes, Melissa said a Rubbermaid juice box. That's exactly what the refillable thing for my kids' lunch boxes were. Yep, thank you. Michelle says, Mike, one time my mom packed a regular knife. I accidentally threw it out. I later told my dad. He was like, that's why we're missing one. Yep. Edifying Gravity says, and then they wonder why they're depressed because they're drinking alcohol. Yep. Jamie says, my brother-in-law's dad turned 80 and bought a special $3,000 bottle of whiskey for his birthday.
Wow.
All right, my brother-in-law said it tasted no better than a $300 bottle. $300 bottle? Obviously, $300 is still expensive, but sorry. Oh, my goodness. There is no hope for the world. Oh, my goodness.
Well, that's more like a hobby for some people, but you have to have a whole lot of extra money to indulge a hobby like that.
Yeah. Barbara Jean says, I remember in the 1960s, we had tomato juice with dinner. It's a very easy vegetable. That's a great idea, actually. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Melissa, I see people having boxes of beers in carts. Think, wow, that's crazy. I know. Just look at all the booze in the carts of people at grocery store. It is absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy.
The thing that I'm always surprised about is we don't eat out very much, but we go on a date night usually once a week. And we started realizing, man, we both have more than half the meal left over. So we just started splitting one. Still tip as if we buy two, but because they still have to serve two people. But what I've noticed is when I see people around buying the alcohol, every drink costs as much as the food.
Yeah.
So if you were to buy 2 meals and 2 drinks, it ends up being like 4 meals worth of money. And I guess if you like it, maybe every once in a while that might be okay. But most of the people seem like they get 4 or 5 drinks while they're there. Well, 3 or 4 drinks while they're there. And I think, wow. I mean, it's fine if you want to do that, but we've never had the budget to be able to do that if we had wanted to.
Claire says we had better start practicing self-rationing and clever food stretching recipes. Yep. Margaret says a big thank you for kicking our tail feathers. You're welcome. Here's the thing. I'm totally torn because we're trying to focus solely on groceries on living on a dime and do videos on just on saving money on groceries. The problem is people really don't want to save money on groceries. And how much, I mean, groceries have gone up 20% in 2 years. How much worse is it going to get before people are going to actually want to be saving money on groceries? I mean, if the lady who's running for president gets into office and 4 years down the road, 5 years down the road, we'll see if people are really finally going to be kicked into the air because she's already been in office for 3.5 years and hasn't done anything to help with the economy. So she's only going to make it worse. So past behavior is usually an indicator of what people will do in the future. So it's like if people don't want to save money on groceries now, I don't know if they are actually going to want to do that later. Nancy West, I need to transplant some basil. That's my manicure. Yep, I totally get it. I have fake nails that I got for clearance because my poor gardening hands. Vicky, meat is, well, and actually I have a torn nail that I'm trying to heal. Whoever suggested the collagen powder for my torn nail that won't heal, I've had it torn for like 2 years or 3 years or something. Actually, it's been longer than that. It's probably been 4 or 5 years now. Whoever suggested the collagen powder, I think it's actually working to heal that. So whoever suggested that, thank you. I found one that finally didn't make me sick to my stomach, and it is working really good. So Vicky says meat is always on sale. There's never reason to pay full price. Yep. Gail says Quick Trip has 1 pound of 80/20 ground beef for $2.99. That's a convenience store in the Midwest. Edifying Gravity, it's my sister's birthday. Speaking of choices, she's been clean and sober for 9 years today. So proud of her. You tell her congratulations.
That is awesome. That's really great.
That is great. I can't imagine how difficult that is. That is great. Common Mom Homeschooler, people need to live rural for a while. Try living 45 minutes from Walmart, fast food joint. Too many minor conveniences while living in town or major cities makes them spoil in a tile. Do not get me started on that. When we lived in Idaho, 70 miles from the nearest town that had any Walmart, grocery store, anything, we were 70 miles from groceries. It really wasn't that bad. Did you feel like we were just totally neglected because we couldn't just stop at the store all the time?
No, it's just, it's like when you go to another country, you just realize, hey, if I'm going to live rural, what are the rules to living rural? And one of them is you drive a long way for groceries. It happens. It's something that rural people do.
The only time it was a problem when our daughter was 6 months old and we ran out of formula and Mike had to go at 10 o'clock at night to town to get it.
And find a store that was open.
It
was like
a small,
4 o'clock in the morning when I got home.
Small town of 30,000 people.
That was
the only time it was really bad. And that was when we decided we had to move closer to the city.
Yeah, because having little kids, particularly with Ellie, had a lot of medical emergencies when she was little. We were like, we need to get back to civilization now. We liked it a lot out there, but we realized it would be, in that case, it was worth us moving closer.
Yeah.
So.
Susan says, if you've been here a while, you should know Tara would use it on the show to point to prices. So you should fact check yourself first. Yeah, people fact check yourself before you email me. Oh my goodness. Claire says, good tip, eat seasonally, don't eat out of season. Yep, Fro's family. Now, Fro's family lives in Japan. She says, hi, from still hot and sunny Japan. So sorry about the hail. It's 14th here. We made it through Friday the 13th. Okay, that's funny. Now, Japan is probably like Norway. I can imagine Japan would have high food prices. I I'm sure they probably do. But even at that, she has said they still find ways to save money in other shows. So, it just is a matter of making up your mind to do it. Penn says, shop the sales. I learned that from Tara. I'm even picking up Christmas gifts all year long. Good job. Badland, I do make a city run 3 or 4 times a year. Stock up, sell or not, $1.59. For gas, it's not worth a run on a sale for a couple of items. Yes. And I got Capri Sun after school last year. And it was $1 for the 6 or 8 pack. I don't remember how many. Instead of $2.68 or something like that. So I stocked up and got 20 of them. Then guess what I brought for the school parties and the potlucks and all that? I brought that. So, and it makes good Christmas gifts and stuff. Vicky, make your meals around sales, not the other way around. Yep. Diet Frugal with Danny says most people don't want to do the work to find the bargains and shop the sales or sacrifice some things and then get angry at the people who are willing to do it. You're a YouTuber, so I think you fully appreciate that. And you know what? Now, when I get comments and questions like that, I not only delete their comment, I ban those people from our channel. I have never put up with it, but I really don't put up with it now. I am just so done. I don't care if you've been a viewer for 10 years. If you're going to be mean and nasty, I am not putting up with it.
Well, if you can imagine that one person who always has to say something negative to everything everyone says, and then you imagine having 3,000 of those on your channel, because that would be 1% of the subscribers for our channel. And so that's a lot of people being kind of tacky. So, and but that still means everyone else is nice. Although unfortunately, tacky people tend to comment more than nice people. Nice people tend to be quiet. So sometimes we appreciate it when the nice people say stuff because.
Yes. Thank you guys who do give us positive comments. Thank you so much. Wanda, I watch a channel that is in New York City and she shops on a budget and gets sales. Yep. Edifying says, hello from Florida. Oh my, yes. Let's see. I think it's Mrs. Riley says, I told my husband I want your cookbooks for Christmas and he's a man, so I hope he heard me. That's so funny. Vicky says, I am a soda drinker, but I only buy it when it's on sale. Good job. Yeah, a lot of people don't drink soda either. Edifying says, nope, got that one. Let's see. Oh dear, some of these are repeats.
Oh, I was wondering, it ended up being a really long list, and I was like, did something happen here?
Something got Go ahead and send me the next one.
You can scroll down closer to the bottom. There were a lot of good ones down there, so hopefully.
Keep going. Thank you, Kathy, for taking care of our troll there. And let's see. Sorry, guys, we got our comments messed up here, so. Vicky says those fruit snacks are so gross, so much cheaper and tastier to buy fresh fruit. Yep.
If you scroll down about 2/3 of the way down, see if something looks like more stuff that's more normal. Yeah, because that's all.
Let's see.
That happened.
Did you just send me the next one?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Badland says I buy individual chips for branding, the gathering and weaning. Too many guys with questionable hands after handling horses and cows dipping into the bulk bag. I'm okay with that situation. That I'm okay with. I totally get it.
Well, and again, some of those things, if it's your business, sometimes the cost of buying it is cheaper than
medical bills than
the difficulty of handling it for a large number of people.
Yeah.
There are things that we buy for the business that we wouldn't buy for ourselves individually because.
Well, like I say, I never buy meat on sale, but one time I had to test ground beef packets to see which one was the most expensive. So I actually had to buy, not on sale, rolls of ground beef. So I never,
What you could do is scroll to the very bottom and then read upwards.
Okay, I think got all of these.
I just sent you a new one, a new list.
There
were just some good ones, so I was hoping you didn't miss them.
Let's see. Question: do you give the suggested tip for Walmart grocery? I don't do grocery delivery anymore, so I don't know that they did that. I didn't know that they were tipping. I would just go do pickup, but I mean, I guess if that's what they're expecting now, I suppose. I probably would just do the pickup for me. But if you have to have it delivered for, whatever reason, then yeah, I guess I probably would. Fro's family makes shopping for bargains a hobby rather than a more expensive hobby. Very good. Yes, you are right. And Kimberly says, I used to coupon only, buying sale items with coupons. What store for the year? I saved $1,000. Good job. Margaret says, get the price book. It works. 35% off right now, guys. The household tips are even in the hardest of times, and a ton of fun too for our cookbooks. Yes, we have tips on how to save money on your house along with your groceries. Guys, there's over 1,200 recipes and tips in this one and 800 recipes and tips in this one. Those two go together, but you can use them separately. And then our gluten-free, dairy-free edition also has 800 tips and recipes.
Woohoo!
Joy says, I back up my discount grocery store trip with any other stop I need along the way to help make the trip more worthwhile. That's exactly what we did. We took one day with a newborn and a toddler, Mom and I, going into town when we lived 70 miles from it. And we spent the whole day there. Did our whole shopping. Yes, with a toddler and a newborn. It was not fun, but we did it.
Well, and also if we find ourselves going somewhere for some reason, like I have a doctor's appointment coming up soon out of town, an hour and a half away in Gillette, Wyoming. And so Tara will probably come with me and do some shopping.
Hit the Kroger store.
Or she might just say, hey, Mike, can you pick this up for me at Kroger? And I would do that. So either way, there were a number of times where in the past I had to go on a work thing away from town. And Tara said, hey, can you pick this up while you're there? Particularly when we were in Idaho. That happened a lot because I was sometimes in the big city where there were 30,000 people. And she would ask me to go.
Because we live in a town of 400. Lori wants to know, do we have recipes for pork in our cookbook? Yes, we do. Melissa, I hurt for your garden. I had an early frost, which wrecked mine. Oh, man, I feel for you. Yeah. Patricia, I can't believe someone else wouldn't drive an hour to the store for better prices. I used to drive an hour each way and work a 12-hour shift as a nurse to pay the bills and buy groceries for my children. You do what you need to do. Sometimes it's not comfortable and you have things immediately in your town. Yep, exactly. Barbara Jean, Tara's new slogan, watch and listen, people. Clean the earwax out of your ears. Take your earphones out. Headphones. What are those ear things called now? Ear pods. What are those called? Buds.
AirPods. Yeah.
AirPods. Take your headphones off and actually listen. Beth. Sirloin steak, $4.99 this week. I bought a lot. Yes. Good job. Lorraine says we do our main shopping once a month. I do too. Yep. Why are show eggs so expensive? So I heard it was the bird flu going around again. Vicky says we got a new roof from our insurance company from hail 5 years ago. I upgraded the single roof for $1,600. Yep. Well, our roof isn't that old. It was just put on in 2019, I think they said. So it may be okay, but we'll see. You can send me the next one, please. I think. Oh, you did. Never mind. Kelly says, for sure, we are human. It doesn't mean you don't appreciate what you have. Knuckleheads. Yeah. I mean, like every other comment was like, well, you should be appreciating what you have. Why are you so upset over just losing some flowers? Because like Mike said, I have spent hundreds of hours in my garden trying to get it up and going. And
it's funny because some people one person made a comment about, well, God does this and God does that. That's true. But like,
doesn't mean you can't be upset
when
about
Aaron's
it.
sons died and God made it happen, Aaron still got upset. And that was, God told him, hey, you can't freak out right now while this is going on. But he still was upset later. Job was very upset about the things that happened to him. And it was okay. He still loved God. He still recognized God did that. So biblically, it doesn't say you can't be upset about an issue, even though it was God's will to do it a certain way. But there's a reasonable amount of upset, and then there's just spending your entire life complaining, which is totally different.
Yeah.
It's totally fine if you shut yourself down when you're upset about something legitimate. You're going to be riddled with anxiety all of your life.
Well, and like
And
I've been talking
depression and
about
stuff
on the
like
show,
that.
just explaining to you guys, but like today, I wasn't sitting at home. We've had between the three guys coming in and out all day long, but I wasn't sitting there just sobbing and crying and bemoaning the fact all day long. I mean, I made a couple of comments, but it wasn't like I was just ruminating over it the whole time. So Lori says you have more people for you than against you, Tara. That's how you know you're on the right track. Don't let that one spoil for you. Thank you. Roxanne says you crack me up. I've watched forever. Found you when I was following the Tightwad Gazette. Loved listening. Always ready to learn. Try something new. Thank you. That is great. Wait, that's not Roxanne. No, that was Roxy. Wait, you're not Roxy that's been following us since the very, very beginning. Are you from Texas? If that's you, comment, because I've been wondering how you are. I don't think it's the same person, because she was Roxy. Oh, I deleted it. Oh. Bonnie, I love to shop at the Bellingham stores, but can't find any of their sellouts. How do you get them? Okay, so what do? I will show you right here. Bellingham, Washington, grocery stores.
She says no. Oh, it's okay. We're still glad to have you here too.
I was just wondering about Roxy a little while ago. So right here, Bellingham, Washington grocery stores. You've got Winco, Grocery Outlet, Safeway, Fred Meyer.
Oh, Bellingham is big.
Have mercy. You have a ton of grocery stores. So yeah, there's no reason why you can't be saving on groceries. So Winco, just go in once a week and see what their ad says, or once a month and see what their ad says. Winco's really good for groceries. I don't know what Hagen is. Never heard of that one. But maybe that's a Kroger. I don't know. Grocery Outlet always has bargains, and Safeway is the same as our Albertsons, so that's always good deal. It looks like this Hagen might be Kroger, possibly. Let's see down here at the bottom if it says Albertsons. It's an Albertsons. And so what I do is I just go here and view weekly ad right here, and then it shows your ad here. Now this isn't very good prices, so I would go look at something else. So this probably looks like your hoity-toity store, maybe. But let's check. Winco doesn't put their ads on, so you have to go, but look in the store. But Safeway. So what I would do is just once every week or two, just hit a different store. Safeway here. Let's view the Safeway
Janet
ad.
says Fred Meyer is Kroger. Was Fred Meyer one of the ones you saw in there?
Oh, Fred Meyer's the Kroger. Okay. So then just look at the ad here. There we go. Grapes, that's pork chops $2.99. That's so. Peaches $1.77. So Bellingham must be really expensive on their groceries, but still, that's not horrid. I mean, you still should be able to buy groceries even for that.
Well, it's part
Let's
of the
look
whole
at Fred Meyer here.
Seattle corridor.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's just Seattle's just expensive. Now, I don't know if this will let me look at the ad since I'm not in there. Kroger is a pain in the rear for view. Yeah, see, it won't let me do it because I'm out of state. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I just go to the grocery store and type it in. But if you're going to Grocery Outlet or Winco, then maybe once or twice a month, just hit that store if you're driving by or whatever. I just run in and see what their ads are on the wall, or if they have something that I need. Lori, don't worry about buying organic. It's a waste of money. Cheryl, Tara, I've watched you for quite a while because you're an true person. Tell it like it is. I have all 3 cookbooks and love them. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you. Ugly Chaz says $1.99 for 5 pounds of potatoes in New Jersey. There you go. Valley Badlands, if you need a new roof, upgrade to 10. We have not regretted it and have been through several hailstorms. No damage. That's actually a good idea. Although I don't know how that would be expensive for our house, wouldn't it? Ooh.
The whole town would hear it when there was a hailstorm. Yeah, it would be expensive for our house just because there's a lot of roof.
Wow. Yeah, Joyce says Jesus wept. We are allowed to be sad. Exactly. Exactly. Bounty of the Badlands. I cried over lots of weather damage causes. Tornado took my barn one year. Yeah, I bawled for 2 days. Again, when the insurance didn't cover the loss. I don't blame you, and it's okay. Yeah, better than the 1 tomato from last year. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Jamie, 500 plus work hours gone. Yeah, I'd have a funeral for my garden. He's not exaggerating, guys. I was doing 8 hours a day between May and June. Almost 8 hours a day between May and June.
Based on that many, so it's even more than
I know. And then 1 to 2 more hours after June, and I got everything in. Because see, what happened is this house, I don't have my gardens all put in. I don't have everything ready, and I don't have the drip irrigation in and everything. So even though this is our 3rd summer here, the first summer, wait a minute, let me think. What year is this? 2024, 23, 22. Okay, so in 2021, we had just moved in, so I couldn't do anything. In 2022, we were still working on stuff inside the house. So I started a few things outside, but not much. Then in 2023, last year, we really got the raised beds and started getting stuff in. And then this year, I'm still continuing. It takes me, when I move to a new house, it takes me 5 years to get the gardens in. And then it kind of calms down a little bit. But yeah.
Although right now it already looks like well, today it doesn't. But on Wednesday, it looked like a botanical garden.
Yeah, on Wednesday it did. It was so pretty. Okay. Connie, I got your email. So sorry that people were mean to you. It's totally okay to cry. Thank you. Yes, I was just having I'm in shock moment, and I was both crying and laughing, and my poor son came out, and I know he was probably thinking, what do I do with Mom? Bounty Badlands hailstorm 1 year, so bad, killed a fancy heifer. Oh, just caught the stone the right way. Oh my goodness, that would be awful. Thousands of dollars. Oh.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, Kathy says, as kids, we drink water out of the hose. I know, I still drink water out of the hose. Wanda, I remember a video when Mom was visiting you in Colorado and it started to hail. She ran outside to put a blanket over her window. Yep, I know. Michelle, Mike let Tara know I sent her a book. Thank you, Michelle. I will look for it. Nancy, I have been food prepping and meal planning while listening. Good motivation. Thank you. And Kathy says, I've been prepping and always check prices before buying and buy what's on sale. Good job. Let's see. Did you send me number 4? Go ahead and send me number 4. Bounty and Badlands. Oh, tomorrow is her birthday.
I was wondering.
Let's just say I'm now north of 70. We're getting pizza, friends over, and watching football. Okay, you ready?
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bounty and the Badlands. Happy birthday to you.
Yay!
I hope you have a good day tomorrow.
Yes, me too.
Sarah, when grocery shopping, I hit the clearance area first before I start shopping. Yes, I always hit the grocery notification or hit the clearance sections. Barbara says, not receiving notifications anymore. Did you discontinue sending them? Nope.
So
that would be YouTube.
It appears that YouTube and Facebook both are not sending notifications to a lot of people, because every show we get like 10 people that say, I haven't seen you in ages and I don't ever get any notifications and I didn't know you were on. And we're not quite sure what the issue is. We've been looking a lot, and it seems like they're just not sending them as much. There are things you can do, like if you're subscribed, you can hit the subscribe button and make sure it says all notifications. There's a little bell over there that says all. I don't know what it is on Facebook. There's something.
I don't know.
There's some way to. Oh, I think if the button where it says like liked or something like that, you have to click that, and it says something like there's some options there that might help you. It might be that, but it also could just be that YouTube and Facebook don't send them out to everybody, which is kind of annoying.
Janet, you guys do great. Love your cookbooks. Thank you so much. Yes, it's our September sale, guys. 35% off right now. Kayla, living on a dime and Grace Livingston Hill books teach me not to be spoiled as a millennial, LOL. You buy the cheapest cuts of meat you can get on sale, live on water and milk, and keep a thrifty home. Maybe other Great Depression books, I think she means, might help, or at least weed out those who could survive. Oh, maybe another Great Depression might help, or weed out, those who survive. Oh my goodness, guys, if we actually have a true economic collapse, people are not going to have a clue how to deal with anything. They're just not.
Well, it wasn't as out of whack back then as it is now, but before World War II, well, I guess there was the Depression. I think it was before the Depression, there was a time where people didn't have a lot of experience with that sort of thing, and they were kind of, I don't know, they learned a lot from the struggle. So
Melissa says on Facebook, click 3 dots, scroll down to where you see notifications. Thank you, Melissa.
My point with the other thing was that they did eventually figure it out, but if it happened now, it would be a lot longer road to the figuring it out for a lot of people.
Wellman says, I just drink instant coffee. It's cheap and easy. Also easier to just drink 2 cups and stop, so I don't drink that much caffeine. Works for me. Very good. Dee's Journey, I don't know why YouTube doesn't notify me when you guys come on. Yeah, you got to make sure you click the subscribe, click the notification bell, and then hit all notifications, and then that will help.
Melissa says on Facebook, click on the 3 dots, scroll down. Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. Jamie, I tip my shopper when I order groceries to be delivered. I figured it's kind of like tipping a waiter. Yeah, it used to be Walmart didn't have tipping, and I loved delivery then, but they must do that now. So, Julie, love your videos. All the things you say save money on groceries. Very true, and they will and do save people money. Yes. Patty Badlands, I taught my kids to do math in their heads. Grocery shopping, guess how much the bill is. The winner got a candy treat the next shopping trip. That's a great idea. Especially, people do not know the art of estimating anymore. I'm like the world's best estimator in the whole universe, I think. I can estimate things, and I'm just like, I have no idea how to do that because I'm horrible at math. But I can just look at something and estimate it. And I don't know if it's that's why, but like with grocery shopping, if you guys want to estimate your grocery bills, add up all the dollars first. And then I go down, and anything over 50 cents, I add those all up and add it to the big number, and then that comes up with my estimation. Because anything under kind of equals out. So I usually get within $1 or $2. Wanda, Wednesday, I chopped the last of the markdown pork loin and added 2 markdown boxes stovetop and served it with can of green beans. Very good. Good job. Lauren, one of the best tips I heard, you guys sticking to 7-10 meals per season. It makes shopping and cooking so much easier when you pre-plan for several weeks in a row. Yes. And I'm having a problem on our other cooking channel, Super Easy Recipes, because I do the 10 meals thing. Well, for Super Easy Recipes, I can't just do 10 dinners for 3 months worth of videos. 4 months, 6 months worth of videos. So I'm kind of we were talking about that today. What videos do I do? So anyway, Lori says load equals awesome. Aw, thank you guys for all the encouragement. It's been a rather discouraging week. Yeah. So anyway, thank you guys. We really appreciate it. And Ann says you are well loved. I inspire her every time I watch. My 10-year-old daughter is also learning from you about deals and is always telling me, what would the dime lady do? That's great. I need a hat that says the dime lady. Judy, God is light, and in him is no darkness at all. 1 John 1:5. Thank you all for your helpful tips. God bless you both and your family. Thank you. Wanda wants to know, how do you tell if mayo is bad? If you smell it, and it smells off, if you smell it and it smells off, don't eat anything at all because it might be spoiled. And I with mayonnaise, if it's open, I probably wouldn't go a month or 2 past the expiration date. That's really pushing it. If it's closed, you could probably get by with 3 to 6 months past the expiration date, and then open it and go ahead and use it. But with mayonnaise, that's one thing you can get food poisoning from. So I don't go too far. That's one thing I would be super careful about. Michelle says, I don't get notifications, but it usually shows up on the feed because of the algorithm. Yep, sometimes it will. Carol Ann says, it would be helpful if you could point out great online deals from, say, Amazon, Wayfair, Overstock. Those of us who are longtime watchers know how to shop. Stop in and check out our local thrift stores for great deals. Wanda, how long do onions last once they are cut? About a week or so. Wanda. So, Carol, on the deals thing. So here's my problem with doing deals. And it's funny because my friend that I'm helping clean her house, she said, Tara, you should do deals like this so-and-so lady. So here's my quandary with that. Since the beginning, all of the frugal living websites, all they've had is deals on Amazon and deals on here and there. So all they're doing is encouraging you to buy stuff. And I have a real ethical issue with telling people to buy stuff when they're in hock up to their eyeballs. But maybe if we're going to make money, maybe we should just be doing that because people just want to buy stuff. Now, some people can buy it because they're out of debt or they need a new pair of shoes for their kids or something.
I was going to say some of the deals might be things they were going to buy anyway, and you just told them how to do it for less.
Because I know there's this one website that has been around almost as long as we have, and you deal people would know who she is. I personally know her. I've met her. And I really had a conflict with that. Because I'm like, you're telling people to save money and budgeting, but then all your posts are things, Legos for $34 instead of $50. And I'm like, I don't know. I have a problem with that. So I don't know. Nancy says if you cut an onion in half and can't use the rest of the time, put the root in water, then plant it when it grows roots. Yep, that does great too. So Gail, will a potato help soup that is too spicy? If it's too salty. If your soup is too salty, you can put your potato in there. Now, if it's too spicy, add about a teaspoon of sugar and that might help if you got too much. So anyway, so yeah, so that's my problem with that. I don't know. I mean, because now that we're out of debt, I buy stuff that I wouldn't have bought when we were in debt.
I think her angle on that is people are going to buy stuff anyway. So I'm showing them how to buy cheaper stuff, and it's up to them to decide. I shouldn't be spending on various things. But if you're spending on something, you might as well get a better deal. And I think that's where she's coming from.
Well, and to be perfectly honest, I know she's making a whole lot more money than we are. So maybe we should have just
probably why she's doing that.
And I don't blame her.
No.
I don't blame her at all. I mean, that's smart, figuring out a way to get people to spend money so you earn money. So I think that's fine. But, you know. So anyway, speaking of spending money, guys, if you want to save money on our cookbooks, 35% off our September sale right now. Easy recipes to get you in and out of the kitchen quick.
But these, if you use them, will actually save you more than they cost.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Yeah. Well, I have had, I don't know how many emails people telling me the first trip to the grocery store, the books have paid for themselves. They were just so shocked because they sit down and read it like a novel. And they're like, what? And here's what I'm going to do, guys. Go to our store and buy the ebook. And I'll give you the code DINING1, DINING1, number 1. And you can look at the ebook for free.
Whoops, do I need to go get
there
that?
You go.
Take me a second.
Michael put that in there for you. Tanya says, are you still trying to pay off your house? Yes. We had to slow down when we had our emergency at the beginning of the year. So we haven't paid off anything since then because we've been getting that taken care of. And then we're not really even back to zero yet, but almost. We're almost back to zero. Yeah. So anyway, Teresa says, Wanda, I accidentally bought spicy sausage instead of regular ones, so I put in a pot of split peas and added the sausage sliced thin. It seasoned the soup really well, and the sausage wasn't wasted. Good idea. Good idea. Teresa, ethical. You have done Amazon Prime before. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. So because of our decision where we were like, well, wait a minute, maybe people are just going to buy this anyway. That's why I had no problem testing those out to see if that might be something people would do, because that's a direction that we have thought about going. So anyway, okay, then why is it still there?
Because you're looking at the wrong place.
Oh, okay. All right. Jay McKay, I'm using my book right now for pantry items, grocery lists. Usually every week, go through the ads. Very good. Yeah, we have a pantry list and a shopping list in here for you. We have freezer meals. We have lunch ideas. We have snack ideas. We have how to use leftovers. We have a whole index just for leftovers. That way you can, if you have a pork roast, you can figure out what to use it in, that kind of thing. Olympia, I'm watching American's Test Kitchen. They are making the most delicious cake. Ooh,
Yum.
Yum. And Mrs. Riley says, I like the dry onions and spice bottles. Yes, those are very convenient, actually. Those are very, very nice. All right, livingonadime.com, guys. We will see you guys next time. We will be on live Monday. Watch tomorrow for the update on my garden coming out so you can see the aftermath and how I dealt with it. So we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.